Hello viewers, I am Deepthi Hans. My topic for today is calorimetry part 2. As we know, matter exists in all the three different phases, solid, liquid and gas. Same matter can exist in different phases at different condition of temperature and pressure. Like water exists at 0 degrees Celsius in the form of solid ice. On heating it converts into liquid water, and then on further heating it converts to steam at 100 degrees Celsius. So, the change of state from one phase to another at constant temperature is known as change of phase. This process of change of phase is the topic for today. Like solid on melting converts to liquid and liquid on freezing converts to solid. While converting solid into liquid, it absorbs heat energy, and when liquid is converting to solids, it rejects equal amount of heat energy. Similarly, a liquid on gaining heat converts to gas. This process is known as vaporization, and gas on rejecting heat converts to liquid. This process is known as condensation. When a solid directly converts into gas, this is known as sublimation, and when a gas directly converts into solid, this is known as solidification. The change of phase from solid to liquid on absorption of heat energy at constant temperature is known as melting, and this constant temperature is known as melting point. Melting points depends on pressure, and its effect can be seen in two different cases. There are two types of substances, one which expand on heating, it means their volume increases, like lead, wax, etc. In these cases, melting point is directly proportional to pressure. If pressure increases, then melting point also increases. But some substances which contract on melting, like ice, etc., melting point has inverse relation with pressure. If pressure increases, then melting point decreases. Similarly, melting point of a substance decreases by increasing impurities in it. While preparing kulfis, they prepare freezing mixture by adding a proper quantity of salt in ice. They bring down the temperature or melting point from 0 to minus 22 degrees Celsius. So these are the effects of pressure and impurities on melting point. The change of phase from liquid to gas on absorption of heat energy at a constant temperature is known as vaporization, and this constant temperature is known as boiling point. All substances expand on boiling, so the effect of pressure on boiling point remains same. That means it is directly proportional to pressure. If pressure increases, then boiling point also increases. If pressure decreases, then boiling point also decreases. This example can be seen inside a pressure cooker. Vapor pressure on water inside it is nearly 1.75 times the atmospheric pressure outside it. So water boils at nearly 120 to 125 degrees Celsius, and it provides easy method for cooking vegetables and takes less time. On the other hand, on high altitudes, when pressure decreases, boiling point also decreases. So water boils at a lower temperature than 100 degrees Celsius, so it becomes cooking becomes difficult, and we need to add impurities in it. Because we know with the addition of impurities, boiling point increases, so with a little addition of salt in the water, cooking of pulses becomes easier. As we have seen, heat energy is absorbed while converting a solid into liquid or liquid into gas, and equal quantity of heat is rejected or liberated when converting a gas into liquid and liquid into solid, without showing any rise in temperature. So, heat energy released or absorbed is not externally manifested by any rise or fall in temperature. It is known as latent heat. It means hidden. Latent word itself means is hidden. So this is the hidden heat. And when we take this latent heat for a unit mass of a substance, this is known as specific latent heat. For its calculation formula, Q is equal to M into L. L is the latent heat, and SI unit of specific latent heat is joule per kg. Now let us try to understand this change of phases with the help of temperature time graph, or you may say heating curve. Time is an independent quantity, so it is shown on x-axis, and temperature is a dependent quantity, it is shown on y-axis. So we are taking an example of a piece of ice. Let's say it is at initially minus 20 degrees Celsius. On giving heat to this piece of ice, its temperature rises. So this phase AB shows rise in temperature and this BC phase shows constant temperature. At 0 degrees Celsius, this phase becomes constant, so this is known as latent phase. Now, on further providing heat, you can see rising temperature at a constant rate from C to D, this whole becomes water. Ice converts to water. In DE phase, this temperature becomes constant at 100 degrees Celsius and this is the phase where you can see steam as well as water. Or further increasing the temperature, water converted into steam and this EF phase shows only steam till 120 degrees Celsius. So far we have covered two different formula for numericals. One is Q is equal to ML and another is Q is equal to MC delta T. M is mass of the substance, L is the latent heat, C is the specific heat capacity and delta T is change in temperature. While calculating a numerical in the horizontal phase, we always use the formula ML. Like in BC part, we use the formula ML. In DE part, we again use the formula ML. Obviously, the meaning of L is changed. Here it is showing the melting point and here it is showing the boiling point. So value of L is changed, but we use the formula. Here it is the latent heat of ice and here it is showing latent heat of vaporization of steam. In AB part, we use the formula MC delta T, but specific heat capacity we take here is for ice only. In this part CD, again we are going to use formula MC delta T, but here we take the specific heat capacity of water. Again in this phase EF we use the formula MC delta T, but here we take the specific heat capacity of steam or you can say vapor. As we know, three different phases has three different specific heat capacities. L, here we take latent heat of ice and here we take latent heat of vaporization of steam. So try to understand this concept. This is very important while calculation of numericals related to this chapter. Now let us try to understand these change of phases with the help of an example in which we have taken 1 kg of ice and it is at a temperature of minus 10 degrees Celsius and is being converted into steam. So first of all, try to understand that when converting ice at minus 10, we first come to phase from minus 10 to 0, then at 0, then from 0 to 100 and then at 100. So it means we don't need this phase. So we need 4 steps of this graph. First is this, let us say this as Q1. We need to calculate Q1. Then this ML phase, it means Q2. Then this MC delta T phase, this is Q3. And then this last phase ML of steam, which is Q4. So total heat energy required to convert this given mass of ice into steam, we require to add these 4 steps energies. It means total Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4. Just take care to put values appropriately in the given positions. So I have taken C, it means specific heat capacity of ice and written it here as 2.1 into 10 raised to power 3. So for calculating Q1, M is same in all these 4 phases, which is given as only 1 kg. So M is 1 into C is 2.1 into 10 raised to power 3 and delta T is 0 minus 10. So it means 2.1 into 10 raised to power 3 into 10. It becomes equal to 21 into 10 raised to power 3 joule. This is Q1. It means this is the energy required in this phase from A to B, that is converting this minus 10 degrees Celsius ice to 0 degrees Celsius ice. Now at 0 degrees Celsius we again need heat energy for converting this 0 degrees Celsius ice into 0 degrees Celsius water. So this phase Q2 is equal to ML. M is 1 and L is latent heat of ice. its value is 336 into 10 raised to power 3. So let it be 336 into 10 raised to power 3 joule. Now this Q3 phase, when it is converting into water at 100 degrees Celsius from 0, Q3 is equal to mc delta T. M remains 1. C, it means specific heat capacity of water. Its value is 4.2 into 10 raised to power 3, and final temperature is 100 minus 0. So value comes out to be 4.2. It means 420 into 10 raised to power 3 joule. Last phase is Q4, again horizontal line, it means ml, but we take care properly put the value of latent heat of steam or vaporization. Its value is 2268 into 10 raised to power 3. So 2268 into 10 raised to power 3 is the calculated value. Now at the end we need to add all these four values, then we get this total heat energy required. It means addition of all these four values, 21 plus 336 plus 420 plus 2268 and 10 raised to power 3 we can take common. After adding these whole values we get the value of 3045, and for this 10 raised to power 3 we can use K, it means kilojoule. So 3045 kilojoule is the total heat energy required for 1 kg of ice at -10 and converting it into steam at 100 degrees Celsius. Always remember, when there is a slope in the graph, then it means there is change in temperature. Use the formula mc delta T. And when this line is horizontal, it means there is no change in temperature, then you cannot use the formula mc delta T. It means you need to use formula ml, but 0 is the melting point. So here you need to use the value of latent heat of ice, and this 100 is the boiling point. So this, if this horizontal line you are calculating, here we need to put the value of latent heat of vaporization. In this numerical, we need to find the result of mixing 10 gram of ice. So mass of ice is 10 gram at -10 degrees Celsius temperature. And we need to convert it into 10 gram of water at 10 degrees Celsius. So first try to remember that we are taking -10 ice, then at 0 ice, then this water at 10 gram. So 3 phases we need to use here. But here according to law of conservation of energy, heat energy imparted by water. So heat energy given by water is equal to heat energy taken by ice as well as melted ice. So heat energy given by water, it means mc delta T. For water we have these things given. M is 10 gram, C is 4.2 joule per gram per Kelvin, and mass is again in gram, so we need not to change any unit. So mc delta T, T is 10 degrees Celsius, and 10 minus 0, it means 10. So 42 420 is equal to heat energy taken by ice. So first it converted into ml and then mc delta T. So for ice we need to take two values. In this numerical we have to find the result of mixing. It means some ice may not be melt, or we can say we don't know the mass of melted ice. So we need to take it as it is m, and latent value is 336. But mass of ice is 10, C, यानी कि specific heat capacity of ice is 2.1 into change in temperature is 0 minus -10. So its value comes out to be 336 m plus 2.1 into 10 is 21 and 10. So 336 m is equal to 420 minus 210 comes out to be 210. So m is equal to 210 divided by 336. So we need to divide 210 by 336 and answer is 0.625 gram. It means 0.625 gram will melt and temperature will remain 0 degrees Celsius, but not whole lot of ice has melted. Now the most important tip for today is while solving your numericals, put your values very carefully. You will get 1 mark for your LHS. If you properly put the value on left hand side, then you will get 1 mark, and then RHS proper putting of values will fetch another mark for you. For the whole calculation you will get another mark, and if you put proper decimal value with proper unit, then you will get the last 4th mark of this 4 marker numerical. Another important definition is specific latent heat of fusion of ice, which is the energy released when a unit mass of water at 0 degrees Celsius is converted into ice at 0 degrees Celsius without any change in temperature. Now, the natural consequences related with this high specific latent heat of fusion of ice. All these reasoning type questions anyone can be asked in your paper and need only one answer, which is the high specific latent heat of fusion of ice, and its value is 336,000 joule per kg. Snow on mountains does not melt all at once. In cold countries, water in lakes and ponds does not freeze all at once. Drinks get cooled more quickly by adding pieces of ice than ice cold water at 0 degrees Celsius. When ice in a frozen lake starts melting, its surroundings become very cold. It is generally more cold after a hailstorm than during or before the hailstorm. Any one of these questions, if come in your examination, you need to give just one line for gaining that 1 mark in your answer. This is high specific latent heat of fusion of ice, and its value is 336,000 joule per kg. Now I want you to solve these two numericals. If you have any doubt, you can tell me in the comment section. I will definitely try to solve these numericals for you. If you understand this topic, then like and share my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.